Well, hello, my name is Jen Rosner, and I'm an author and scholar who teaches in both the Christian and Messianic Jewish worlds. I'm excited today to be interviewing Mark Kinzer and Russ Resnik on their new book, Besorah, The Resurrection of Jerusalem and the Healing of a Fractured Gospel, which just released this month. In the book, Rabbi Russ presents the message of Dr. Kinzer's longer and more academic book, Jerusalem Crucified, Jerusalem Risen, to a wider audience. That message centers on the Besorah, the gospel of the death and resurrection of Jesus the Messiah, as uniquely presented in Luke and Acts. It makes the case that Luke's perspective is essential to properly understanding the teachings of the New Testament. So Russ, tell us, who is the book written for? If I had a few extra copies of the book, who should I give one to?
Well, thanks for that question. I would think anyone who takes seriously or wants to take seriously the Gospel of Luke, the book of Acts, or really the New Testament as a whole, would really benefit from this book. But beyond that, anyone Jewish, Christian, or undecided and open-minded who's interested in Yeshua and in his message, particularly aspects of the message that have been largely overlooked by Christians and Jews. And anyone who wants to understand or who you think needs to understand Messianic Judaism better, anyone who's interested in the possibilities of deeper understanding between Christians and Jews, and in the broadest sense, really anyone who's looking for a message of hope and reconciliation in this era of misunderstanding and hostility would really benefit from this book.
Yeah, sounds like a very important book. So Mark, your subtitle speaks about a fractured gospel, which could be a controversial idea. How can you say that something so foundational to New Testament faith is fractured?
Well, in our reading, the Gospel of Luke and Acts of the Apostles teach that the good news of Jesus' death and resurrection isn't only about the salvation of individuals. It's also about the corporate destiny of the Jewish people in history and beyond history. The suffering and death of Jesus anticipate the coming suffering of Israel and its centuries of exile. Jesus shares in that suffering and gives it redemptive power. The resurrection of Jesus anticipates the future resurrection of Israel in its own land. It's Israel's risen Messiah who time and again has renewed the Jewish people even when circumstances seemed hopeless. It's the risen Messiah who brought Israel back to its land and raised Jewish Jerusalem from the dead. It's also the risen Messiah who's begun to restore a community of Jews who recognize and confess him as Lord. And at the end of the age, it's the risen Messiah who returned to Zion and literally raised the nation of Israel from the dead. In its tradition, the church only preserved part of this gospel, the Jesus part, and his saving power for the nations. The part concerning Jewish destiny and history and beyond was preserved continuously only in the tradition of the Jewish people, but sadly here disconnected from the Jesus part. That's what Rabbi Russ and I mean by the fracturing of the gospel. The whole Besorah has been preserved, but in two separated parts by two separated communities.
What a powerful concept. So finally, Russ, can you tell us, how does this fractured gospel get healed?
Well, when we speak of healing, we're thinking of the gospel, the Besorah, as living and as life-giving. And healing it means embracing the full sweep of its message, as Mark outlined, which is the message as Yeshua proclaimed it and embodied it in his death and resurrection. So just as Yeshua in his death identifies with the coming judgment on Jerusalem at the hands of Rome, so in his resurrection, he ensures and empowers the restoration of Jerusalem yet to come. And the healing of the Besorah entails reflecting Yeshua's own passion for the restoration of his people, so that The Besorah again becomes a message of hope for the Jewish people, rather than a message that alienates and marginalizes Jews and Judaism, as has so often happened.
Mm.
The healing of the Besorah means embracing the whole of it and proclaiming the whole of it, and recognizing that it's a word of hope and good news for all Israel, for all the Jewish people, as well as all the nations. And it's the vision of the Hebrew prophets and the hope of Israel that the prophets portray that turns out to be the hope of all humankind. And that's what we're hoping to convey.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks to both of you for your work on this important book and for sharing with us some of the book's key ideas.
Thank you, Jen. Thanks for sharing with us.